That's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. Well, it all started when I... This is Rhino Hero, a 2 to 5 player, short, small, easy to learn dexterity game that wins the heart of anyone I play it with. It's like a reverse Jenga with a little Rhino superhero and a couple of different player cards. That's it. Really simple to play, really simple to learn, but it's a lot of fun. Before we get into what Rhino Hero is, I should probably explain what a dexterity game is. So a dexterity game is something that you use your hands to do little dexterous things with, like, you know, like building a tower or flicking a piece or pushing something, like balancing things. They're the kind of game that appeal to that caveman brain that's in the back of your head, that finds you throwing rocks at other rocks when you're at the beach, that finds you throwing rocks into the sea when you're standing by the sea. It's that kind of simple, instinctual fun that you can't really explain why you enjoy it, but you just do. And Rhino Hero is one of the best examples of a dexterity game that I've played so far, anyway, in my opinion. So, how do you actually play? Well, the game is made of these walls, these cards, and this little Rhino Hero here.
Look at this guy. I mean, look at him. That's the face of someone who still thinks he can make a difference. That's the face of someone who still has a little bit of hope for humanity left.
Depending on how many players you are, you get dealt out a hand of cards, and the aim of the game is to get rid of your cards and to not be the one who knocks over the tower. It's simple, really. You place this card on the table, and the first player will take some walls and they'll place them corresponding to these lines, and then they choose one of their cards and they put it on top, and that's it. And then the next player goes. That's as simple as the game is. The only other rules are what these cards do. There's a couple of different types of cards. You've got, first of all, you have the Rhino Hero card, the Rhino card. This one means if that's placed and then it's your turn, before you put the walls down, you have to move the Rhino from wherever it is and put it onto the Rhino spot on the card, which that's like one of the most fun things about this game, is when it gets tall and the Rhino is at the bottom and someone puts a Rhino card and you're like, balls, and you have to try and find the Rhino and get your fingers in between the walls and try and put him on the top without knocking over the tower.
That's the face of someone who's naive and unaware of the harsh, cruel, tragic reality of impending doom that we're all suspended in. That's the face of someone who has the glass half full.
Because if you do knock over the tower, I think you instantly become the loser. I think that's one of the rules of this game. Okay, so another card we have is the ×2 card. It's pretty simple. When you place that card down, you can place another card on top of it, because you want to get rid of your card. So this is a useful one to use. You can place any other card on top of it other than another ×2. You can't stack ×2 cards. After that, you've got this +1 card. This makes the person next to you pick up a card. The blue exclamation point, I think it's called take a breather. That just means the person next to you skips a go. And then the final one is change direction. Pretty simple. When you place this one, it just means it goes back round the other way. So let me show you a turn. Hang on, let me just show you a turn. Okay, so this is our tower, right? Someone's just put the Rhino card up, so it's my go. Oh no, I gotta move the Rhino. So I get the Rhino and I put it here before I can place the walls. Say if the Rhino was already somewhere on the tower, I'd have to get it from where he was there. And then I put in my walls, and then I choose a card out of my hand and I put on the wall, and then it's the next player's turn. And I put the Rhino there, so they've got to find the Rhino, put it up there, and then do the same, and it goes around like that. It's a super simple game, but it's just so much fun.
That's the face of someone that when you meet, you think, I wish I was like you. I wish I could smile while doing my job, while living my days. That's the face of someone who wants to help people. That's the face of someone who wants to help people for the sake of helping people.
I can't explain to you how much fun it is. I don't know why. It's like reverse Jenga. It's not as loud as Jenga. When Jenga falls, there's an earthquake. When this falls, it's like, oh, it still feels crazy, but there's not deafening noises in the distance. So you know how to play the game. So let's talk a little bit about why I love this game. Let's just talk a little bit about this game. This game builds quite a lot of tension for just a couple of cards, a couple of cardboard walls, and a tiny little rhino guy. If you've ever played Jenga, you know what I mean. Like, as it gets higher and taller, the tension really does build. The moment someone's got to move the rhino from an awkward position, it gets pretty stressful, and it gets so tall because it's only cards and because the walls are quite tall. It's such a small box, and there's not a lot in there, but it gets really, really tall. I always play this board game cafe called Chance Encounters in Cardiff. And every time I do, by the time we're halfway through the game, it's like getting really tall and everyone is just looking like, oh damn, these things are getting tense over there. And however many times I play it, that tension always still remains there. It's that caveman brain kicking in again, like, oh no, Dave may push thing and fall over. Uh-oh, bad Dave. Dave can't do that.
That's the face of a very cute but strong looking Rhino Hero. Not just my Rhino Hero, but your Rhino Hero. Not just your Rhino Hero, but our Rhino Hero. This dude, he's an icon.
And when I say it's easy to learn, I mean, you probably understand it now, right? I've taught this to so many different kind of people who are into different things and like gaming or don't like gaming. It's just a fun activity that you can genuinely teach to anyone. Another thing about this game as well, every time I play it, right? Every time I open it and I see this deck of cards, I always think to myself, do you know what? That's not enough cards. I could make it that tall, easy peasy. These walls and those cards, I could do that. I'm a construction genius. Turns out I'm wrong. You know, I think there's only been once when I've got it to the top, and when we did that, it fell on that at the top. So don't get too overconfident. Don't be too much like me in that sense. So I know it kind of looks like a kid's game, especially from the box, you know, very kind of childlike art style, and I guess it kind of is, you know, it's like age 5 to 99, but it looks like a kid's game. But do you know what, there's something about bringing out this box, saying Rhino Hero to people and seeing them be like, okay, it looks like a kid's game. Those people who are a little bit snobby and a little bit turn-nosed to stuff like this, as soon as you get them one round in, they're the ones who are invested the most, believe me. When you look at the art on the walls, it's so cute. These little pictures on the walls, or in the walls, on the walls. There's like stuff in the windows. There's these cute little flowers and his pets. It's just one of those things that brings out the inner child in people. You know what I mean? You know when you see that inner child pop out of someone and you haven't seen it for a while. This is a game that will do that, believe me, because it's got the tension, it's got the fun, but it's also got that charm and that silliness that sometimes you need to have some of that in your life. I don't know what it is about things growing taller that's so satisfying, but it is. It just is.
He's not a celebrity, he's a symbol of goodness, of hope, of all things right, in a world full of all things wrong.
So, Rhino Hero. Hey, I love this game, you know. It's a lot of fun. It's really easy to teach. It's just, there's no rules or barrier to learning this game. You can just pick it up and play straight away, and you'll get that kind of enjoyment, that just instinctual fun that you get out of games like this. I love Rhino Hero. I've played it with so many people, and it always brings so much joy to the people I play it with. There is a second version, a bigger version called Rhino Hero Super Battle, which maybe I'll talk about in another video. It's bigger, there's more pieces, there's more rules, a little bit more complicated, but if you're into this, I mean, it's just more of this with a couple more stuff going on. So you'll like Rhino Hero Super Battle. But this, the reason I love it is because it's so small, I can take it anywhere and just have such a big experience with it every time. Like I said earlier, there's probably a lot of folks out there who think they're too good for a game like this. Too smart, too strategic, too intellectual, but that's the great thing about this. It's a game in which building walls and ceilings will break down the walls of the people around your table. Those guys who think they're too good for it, like I said, they'll be the ones who become most invested in this game. The level of focus they have on being the one who won't compromise the structural integrity of this tower will become unparalleled. It's a lot of fun.
We need more people like Rhino Hero. More people willing to climb that tower for some reason. I'm assuming it's to go and save someone, because Rhino Hero's intentions are always good, only good. We don't know what his powers are, we don't know his abilities, but we know his emotional powers and his moral abilities. What a guy. Our Rhino Hero.